That was for you. He didn't intervene on anybody but Shashi Tharoor. And I do think that that's odd, if you want to know my opinion. Because either there should be, as I said, a templated, standardized rule for every member of parliament, and you stop everybody who moves away from that script. But when you look at the assembly of invocations, and Ujjwal Deepak, I'll come to you right after that, what did you feel?
So Barkha, two very quick things. There is very clearly something that the opposition has managed to got a hold on. Please understand that they are also up against a lot. And we also, of course, grill the opposition of why are they not actually managing to capture the imagination of the people. And if a political party or side is managing to capture the imagination of people based on the constitution, Jai Samvidhan to that. Secondly, Barkha, it's a democracy. It's okay. We are not a dictatorship where we have to follow each line, and then follow everything. It's okay. I would have said, say Jai Shri Krishna, say Jai Ram, if there is one line that everybody is including and trying to make a little bit of a personal statement, it's okay. We are a democracy. My problem is not only the fact of him being stopped in that manner or being tokoed in that manner, literally, but the abrasiveness with which the speaker said, "Tum baith jao." It was not "aap baith jao." It was "tum baith jao." I think that is something that needs to be pushed back, because the speaker would not talk like that to a member of the treasury. Why was the person? Why is the opposition being talked down to? I think there has to be a re-understanding of respect, that there is a treasury bench, there is an opposition bench. You can't keep mocking everything in a democracy and opposition. Barkha, shocking thing. I did an episode, said Rahul Gandhi is going to take up the first constitutional post in his career of more than 20 years, the first time. Can he do it, etc., etc. There are so many people who said, what are you talking about? First constitutional post? Wo to MP bhi tha. People don't even know the leader of... No, they said, no, you are wrong. Leader of opposition is not a constitutional post. That is the lack of awareness, that people don't even know that what is the role and responsibility of the leader of opposition. So maybe we need to see a little bit of more opposition to understand what democracy is all about.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. And I actually saw that sort of melange of different voices. And I, like you, thought it was just fine. This would have been not a non-issue had the speaker not reprimanded Shashi Tharoor. Ujjwal Deepak of the BJP, thank you for joining us. Kya problem hai bhai? Did you think that Om Birla went too far in for saying to Tharoor what was the need to say Jai Samvidhan? Then when Dipinder Hooda gets to his feet, stands up and says, "What's your problem?" He says, "Baith jao."
Barkha, the problem is, you will see there is a new kind of hooliganism inside the parliament. There's a new kind of arajakta.
For example,
everybody wanting to do some kind of drama, whether it's the government or the opposition. And me also, I don't know when did that happen last. I mean, I've seen many oath-taking ceremonies in the past, and there was rarely an opportunity or a time when people used to do that. So there's a new kind of arajakta you will see.
आपके सहयोगी भी करे, बहुत आपके सहयोगियों ने भी कहा जय श्री राम, जय कृष्णा.
I did mention whether it's the government or the opposition. Okay. So this is a new India. This is a new democratic India with full of slogans, sloganism and political drama, if I may call so. So gone are the days when the opposition during its entire election campaign talked about unemployment and Mangai and all that. And since the government has been formed, you will see nothing of that sort. We are only talking about constitution. So what really is this constitution debate all about? I asked you 2 days back also, what is this changing this whole constitution all about?
And I said to you 2 days back also, which we discussed before you joined, that whether it's an Anand Hegde, your Ayodhya member of parliament, Lalu Singh, there are BJP parliamentarians since voted out who have spoken about changing the constitution.
Barkha, though I asked that question, but I myself know the answer. But what I'm really asking here is that really the case? I mean, two MPs giving some statements and BJP also taking some action on them.
Yeah.
Do they come and you are not believing Prime Minister Modi's statement that even if Mr. Ambedkar would come alive, he would not even try to change the constitution. So who would you believe in? The Prime Minister of India or some two MPs? So why are we not talking about that? And who have made the maximum amendments in the constitution? You all are aware of that, right? You should read you all should read a book called Stormy Nights. I believe that's the name. 1951's debate of Nehru changing the entire essence of the constitution, where the freedom of the right to freedom was completely put down. There were 10 days of fierce debate in the
Okay.
constitution.
Okay, let me bring reactions in. I think Arshpreet would want to come in first, then Sanjay, Hegde, Shantanu, and Akash in that order. Arshpreet, please go ahead.
My question to the BJP is, I'd like to start with a question. Can a parliamentarian say Jai Samvidhan in the parliament according to BJP, yes or no? And just so that, one practices what he or she preaches, because they say we are for constitution, please say Jai Samvidhan on this debate and prove that.
Okay, Ujjwal, if we can unmute Ujjwal. You're muted at your own end. Yeah, go ahead.
Question.
Ujjwal, unmute
I didn't
yourself.
get the question, sorry.
He's saying कि आप बोलने के लिए राजी हैं जय संविधान इस कार्यक्रम में?
Why not? जय संविधान, जय भीम, जय भारत, भारत माता की जय.
Okay, now
Jai
let's
Shri
go back
Ram.
to. Okay.
Yeah,
Now the second
why
leg
not?
of the,
Okay.
yeah, very good. Second leg of the question was, can MPs in parliament say Jai Samvidhan or not?
Why not?
Then why did the speaker object
When
to that?
Asaduddin Owaisi can say Jai
Then why did the
Palestine
speaker object
and
to
the
that?
speaker doesn't object him,
Then was the speaker wrong or not?
no, I am nobody to comment on that. Why he did that, that's him to answer. Believe me.
Perfect. Barkha,
Okay.
I'll continue.
Okay.
I'm the
I'll
spokesperson
continue
of the
with-
party,
with
Okay.
what
not
I've
for the
said.
Okay,
speaker.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Number
But
one.
you've answered. Yeah. Okay, Arshpreet, he has said Jai Samvidhan. Now I think we can move on
Great.
from whether he would
Great.
say it or not.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. I think this is quite an accomplishment. A BJP spokesperson saying Jai Samvidhan. I'd really appreciate him. Number one.
But why are
First
you
and foremost.
saying that? The Prime Minister also bowed before the Constitution
Yes.
as he met with
The
members
BJP is
of
bowed down
Parliament.
before the constitution. We all do, right?
When the speaker when the speaker objected to that, the BJP MP should have stood up. They should have said it's perfectly all right to say Jai Samvidhan. Why was it just the opposition objecting to that? Why was it not the Bharatiya Janata Party's MPs? Number one. Number two. See, it is very easy for the BJP MPs to say Jai Modi ji, Jai for their leaders, but it's very difficult for them to say Jai Samvidhan in the parliament. Have you seen a single MP of the BJP say that? Why do the Bharatiya Janata Party not prefer to say it? And why does the Bharatiya Janata Party is against it? Let's understand first. First is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is restrained from doing anything and everything, act according to the whims and fancies, be arbitrary because of the constitution. They wanted to rig the Chandigarh mayor poll election. They could not because of the constitution and because of the guardian of the constitution, the Supreme Court, which said murder of democracy happened. The BJP has a problem with the constitution because the constitution restrains them from bulldozing over the houses of people without a fair trial, without the principle of natural justice being violated. They want to be the judge, jury, and executioner. The constitution does not let them get away with that. That's where the BJP has a problem. Now, here, the thing is that the BJP leaders misinterpreting this book constitution that we can see, calling it a book, calling it names, is because the BJP leaders maybe have never had a pocket version of a constitution in their pockets. If they had ever had it there, they would have known what the constitution is all about, what it says, and they would have implemented it.
Arshpreet, let's get reactions because everybody
And one
wants to
last
speak.
line, please. Just one last line, Barkha. It's not just the opposition. 600 lawyers recently wrote to the CGI regarding the pressure that's being mounted upon the judiciary, which is the guardian of the constitution. 4 judges had to do a press conference, sitting judges, unprecedented. And 21 former judges, 4 of the Supreme Court and 17 of of various high courts had to write to the CGI. So it's a big concern, and it's no open secret that the Bharatiya Janata Party is against the constitution.
Okay, let's focus. Sanjay, Hegde, then Shantanu, and then Akash. Sanjay, go ahead.
There are a few things that I want to clear up because lots of things become WhatsApp forwards and then get engraved into stone. The first thing is you said that secularism came in only by the 42nd Amendment. You see, there was a debate during the Constituent Assembly itself as to why did you not put the word secular. Dr. Ambedkar said, look, every portion of the Constitution and the fundamental rights is secular. You don't need to specifically put it. Nevertheless, it was put in 76. After that, you had the Janata Party, of which both Vajpayee and Advani were members of the cabinet. They brought in the 44th Amendment, where everything that the 42nd Amendment did was taken out. But this was specifically left in. So secularism is a particular constitutional choice which has been endorsed over a whole portion of history. And even if you take it out from the preamble, the Constitution will continue to remain secular, though the vision of those who want to take it out will definitely be anti-secular. Now, the other thing was, I heard somebody say, in 1951, they changed with the First Amendment. I must point out that 1951 was the same Constituent Assembly which passed the Constitution. It was making changes in its own homework. Secondly, the number of constitutional amendments do not really matter. It is the quality of the amendment that matters, because you will have to have a constitutional amendment to increase the number of judges in the Supreme Court. You'll have to have because you have a very long constitution. You want to have Panchayati Raj, you'll need a constitutional amendment. The quality, saying that, look, we shall be a Hindu Rashtra. One amendment like that, which breaks the entire basic structure of the Constitution, that's the problem.
And I take your point that secularism was always in the essence, and it's enshrined in the fundamental rights as a guiding principle. But I was just being technically factual about the preamble. That's all. Shantanu, let's bring you in. You opened by saying that there has been a successfully created fake narrative by the opposition that the Constitution was under threat, to which some of us quoted the two BJP leaders who did talk about changing it. I think there was a third also, whom I can remember, Jyoti Mirdha, from one of her rallies. So there was this kind of commentary. And the Prime Minister did counter it. But as is the nature with such things, the opposition had latched onto it by now. Do you not think the Speaker did, ironically, perhaps a disservice to the BJP with that exchange with both Tharoor and Dipinder Hooda? Shantanu ji. Can we unmute Shantanu, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I already told in my initial remark, that if you want to measure the tone, tonality, the nature, if you be microscopic, some may find, he could have been a little more like softer about this topic. And you already shown that similar comments, Jai Samvidhan, were made by others, and it was not being checked, right? So he was making a very particular remark कि आप संविधान पे शपथ ले रहे हैं, बार-बार संविधान क्यों बोल रहे हैं? He was like giving a very logical discussion point rather than, no, you can't say Jai Samvidhan. I did not hear that. If some of you heard that, I'm saying then we can comment, right?
But
that's
suppose 500 MPs had said Jai Hindu Rashtra, nobody would have said कि आपने 500 बारी क्यों बोला? Maybe BJP wouldn't have said कि 500 बारी क्यों बोला?
You don't know.
So
you don't know because that did not happen.
Right?
Because that did not happen. Because see, because it coming from a point that Samvidhan, holding the copy of the Samvidhan became an election issue. So he was pointing out, election is over. Your narrative which you want to put, Samvidhan badal jayega, worked for you little bit. Little bit means आप LOP ले पाए इस बार. That's the only credit I think opposition can hold कि इस बार LOP हमारे पास after the three terms. So don't overplay it, right? I think that's what he meant, right? Now coming to Samvidhan badal jayega, what does it exactly mean, right? Can you really change Samvidhan? So if like someone like Hegde or Lallu Singh, if they're mentioning also Samvidhan badal jayega, their connotation might be typical Hindu issue which is still pending, right? Like Places of Worship Act, like temple control, like Waqf Act, right? Like, and you can do amendments. I'm sure Article 368, to my understanding, that provides you amendment. There, to my understanding, there are 106 amendments, and BJP government in the last 10 years make 8 amendments. And do you want to know the
badal jayega, sorry to interrupt, Samvidhan badal jayega means going against the basic structure which is now defined by the Supreme Court.
That's your understanding.
Amending that is my understanding. I can only
give you my understanding. Totally right. So you see, so I'm saying technically understand what a Lallu Singh want to cater to is Hindu population, right? I'm saying technically yes, Anant Hegde. So what are the pending Hindu issues? Pending Hindu issues typically are places of worship act, temple control, and Waqf, right? Changing the Waqf act so that they can't control any land in India, right? So I'm saying then saying if we have more seats, we have more control, we will do more of amendments. Just see the 8 amendments that BJP government made in this 10 years, right? Just a few of them, apart from the GST and all. They're saying 10% reservation for EWS, right? They're saying 33% reservation for women. They're saying OBC caste can be identified by the state. They are legalizing the OBC commission. Are they anti-reservation? And Samvidhan badal denge. How the Congress and opposition very smartly and very cunningly changed it to reservation khatam ho jayega. And that was the same narrative which worked in 2015 Bihar election when Mohan Bhagwatji very philosophically told that reservation can be reviewed. Even Baba Sahib Ambedkar said after 10 years should be reviewed, right? Well, he philosophically said, and that affected. So that worked then, and that's why I'm saying it's a fake narrative, because Samvidhan badal jayega was turned to reservation chala jayega, and also added with a fake video of Amit Shah, which was posted by a constitutional post holder, Chief Minister Revant Reddy. For some reason, none of the commentators are mentioning that, right? So they went on a fake narrative. They thought they're thinking it will run for a while. That's why they will keep overdoing it. I think he just checked it. He could have avoided it also. But to my mind, that's not even a moot point. Kisne Samvidhan badla hai? Someone who trampled the Samvidhan. Emergency is not discussed enough in this country, right? Now, hopefully, there's a movie coming, I heard. So there will become a popular discussion what emergency was. I think it's coming in September or so. Popular Janta doesn't even know, as Akash was saying, as the people don't know what LOP is exactly or what MP is. Popular people don't know what happened exactly in emergency.
Okay, I just want to bring in Akash and then I'll come back for last comments from everybody. Akash, firstly, I just noticed your T-shirt, Bharat, that is India, also has been a talking point. Ki badalna chahiye, nahi badalna.
This is our merch of Deshbhakt. Okay. Actually, Barkha, there's a story there also. When there was this talk about the education ministry saying that we will change India into Bharat, even in the educational courses, we actually launched this T-shirt saying Bharat, that was India. And that really, pissed off a lot of people. And and after the elections, we have changed this T-shirt to Bharat, that is India. So I think these are the constitutional values that we really need to have a look and reinforce.
But do you want to come in on this argument that even the BJP motor mouths who spoke about wanting to change the constitution, they were never talking about taking away the reservation, what Shantanu just said. They were not talking about taking away affirmative action from Dalits. But the opposition was able to successfully put that in the minds of many voters, and that worked for them, right?
Yes.
He's saying that's fake news. The opposition. Yeah. What do you say?
So, Barkha, first, I just wanted to mention this, that Arajakta hai parliament mein, because everybody was saying one line. It just reminded me of that girl, 21-year-old girl in New Zealand parliament who did the haka. Come on. I mean, everybody might say that, oh, what is this? But she was representing the aspirations of the native New Zealanders when she did the haka in parliament. So it's okay in democracy. I think what is happening is, Barkha, in this conversation, we are doing a little bit of, as Piyush Goyalji said, you are getting into the maths here. And why we are getting into the maths is we are actually getting into the very specifics. Politics does not work on specifics. I can also get into the maths and say, ask the people on the streets. They will still say Congress ne Bofors mein paisa khaya hai. 30 years in courts, they did not get anything. Pappu can't dance. Well, Pappu can dance or not. It doesn't matter. So in politics, it is perception that matters. Modi ji 18 घंटे काम करते हैं. किसी ने बैठ के थोड़ी ना देखा है 18 घंटे काम करते हैं. It is the perception that he is the hardest working prime minister we have had. Now, would I sit down and have a debate and discussion over it? No. The fact is that common perception was, here is a party that is asking for 400 seats because they want to change the basic structure of the constitution. And there are BJP supporters who said, hundreds of comments on our channel is that we don't agree with you, Akash. You ask too many questions. But yes, I think this is getting too much at this point of time. So much balance of power in one side is not okay. Please understand, this election was not fought over the specifics of अच्छा कितने amendment हुए थे अभी तक हम पढ़ के देखते हैं. As Sanjay was also saying, it is the quality, it is the intention with which you are discussing and what you are talking about. And that is, I think, what people said, and the opposition has benefited out of it. should they play more upon it? I think yes, they should play more upon it. They should encourage people to ask what the constitution is, what it says. But Barkha, one final point. Yes, maybe they are overplaying on it. I might agree there. You know why? Is because I haven't seen any coherent action from the opposition since morning. That drastically airport collapse. Yesterday, you had one collapse. Today, you've had another collapse. I just checked Rahul Gandhi's Twitter feed. At least on the Twitter feed, I could not get anything. The opposition's role is not only to say, "Acha, Speaker Sahab, aapne ye kar diya, so we are going to stand up against you." I'm sorry, nobody is watching parliamentary proceedings in today's India. What they are watching is this kind of airport collapse that is happening 3 months after the Prime Minister goes on an inauguration spree and inaugurates so many airports, and you've had 2 collapses in 2 days on the first spell of rain. That is a serious question that the opposition has to raise. So yes, to that I might say is that maybe the opposition is barking up the wrong tree. Is that one statement being taken to that extent and debated and discussed, or them encouraging it? I would have really wanted the opposition to have taken up charge on this issue, and by now, after 12 hours, they should have demanded a full audit of all the new airports that have been inaugurated on 10th and 11th of March, which is, I think, 5 days before the Model Code of Conduct came into play. Was it that the airports got completed so quickly, or was it a rushed project? That is the question that the opposition should be asking as well.
I am glad you make the point. And in fact, Arshpreet, I'll come to you in your concluding remarks, because there's supporters of the opposition who also believe the opposition is far too defensive and silent on the rights of religious minorities. That's another issue that remains unaddressed. So if you really want to defend the spirit of the Constitution, you can't do it with one hand behind your back. So I think that's the point Akash is raising in the context of that horrific airport collapse. Ujjwal Deepak, last thoughts. Yes, go ahead.
Barkha, there is a common saying कि जब तक सच अपने जूते के लेस बांधते रहता है तब तक झूठ दुनिया के कई चक्कर लगा के आ जाता है. और दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैज हैपेंड ड्यूरिंग दिस इलेक्शन एंड टिल नाउ. सो समबडी सेड समथिंग और वो इलेक्शन खत्म हो जाएगा, रिजर्वेशन खत्म हो जाएगा, संविधान बदल दिया जाएगा, देश का एक्सरे होगा, MRI स्कैन होगा, रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ वेल्थ. So Mr. Sam Pitroda, though he was not in a constitutional post, he was not an MP, but he making some absurd statements, and you know, nobody talks about that. Rahul Gandhi making statements ki we will redistribute wealth according to the population.
Donald Trump has lied through his teeth in the debate today, and he's probably going to win the US election. As Akash said, ye rajniti hai. This is politics, which is why how you communicate.
And also, as while I would agree to what Akash said about the airport fiasco, but I would also disagree that this was not what Mr. Prime Minister inaugurated. This was way back when Congress inaugurated this canopy.
Okay, but he was saying the opposition should talk about it, and the government had to maintain it, and GMR had to maintain it.
But the opposition is not talking about it. What opposition is more interested is that the Prime Minister inaugurated it. So this is what's happening in India, and despite BJP doing everything for the minorities, for the OBCs, for everybody, despite that, the BJP is blamed to be playing biased against making it a Hindu Rashtra, while my fellow spokesperson from BJP said very rightly that BJP doing nothing of that sort. Still, the opposition is playing right bang upon what the speaker is saying to the members, rather than what's happening in the country.
And I would say that this is a tit-for-tat political game on. You guys do it, they do it. They've learned late how to do it. They've learned probably from you how to do it. And they're borrowing from your playbook. No, I don't mean you personally, but the point is that this sort of WhatsApp university, WhatsApp forwards, memes, social media, the BJP was the first mover on it very smartly, but often facts don't matter. Let's say the one true thing that Donald Trump said was that we live in a post-truth world. Achha, but anyway, Arshpreet, last thoughts. Sanjay, let me give you the closing word. Arshpreet? Yeah.
Thank you. My only suggestion to the Bharatiya Janata Party is understand this कि constitution है तो आप हो, and constitution was supreme, is supreme, and will always be supreme no matter what the Bharatiya Janata Party's government thinks or does not. See, the gentleman from the BJP also talked about that these claims of the opposition are unnecessary, are basically an exaggeration. I'll give you a couple of assertions by the Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders also about reservation. Mr. Manmohan Vaidya, the publicity chief of RSS, he said that a reservation is against the principle of equality. Mr. Mohan Bhagwat said reservation should be reconsidered. Then Mr. Golwalkar ji in his book Vicharadhan wrote against reservation. So Bharatiya Janata Party's leaders have spoken on record against reservation, against constitution. And my answer to Akash is that he said, why has the Congress party not spoken over the collapse that has happened today? Well, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge has very categorically made remarks over the matter, and he has also said that corruption and criminal negligence had led to this, and the Bharatiya Janata Party needs to fix accountability and make sure that the people that have suffered because of this, they are brought to justice.
Okay, thank you for that. Sanjay Hegde, closing word. Sanjay Hegde.
Well, one reason why governments do not like the constitution or people pointing out the constitution is because the constitution is a limitation on power. And they think that they are emperors. And I'd like to close on what Rahat Indori said. कल तक जो थे साहिब मसनद आज नहीं है, किराएदार है, जाती मकान थोड़ी है, सभी का खून यहाँ की मिट्टी में शामिल, किसी के बाप का हिंदुस्तान थोड़ी है.